Hello everybody, it's Yvonne here. Welcome to this live stream. I'm excited to be here live with you today. We're going to talk about how the online travel agents have hooked you in and how you can break free. And this live stream is going to be a little bit different, probably to what you're used to hearing me talk about. So I'd like you to take some notes. If you're here live with me, welcome to the call. If you're watching on the replay, then do #replay. And let me know that you're here and ask your questions. And if you want to come back, and then so that I can come back and answer your questions later. So let me just sort out the screen. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes for people to join, and then we'll get started. So how the online travel agents have hooked you in and how to break free. So my inspiration for this live stream was from a thread that I saw in the group a little while ago. I think it was over the weekend, talking about, people complaining about the online travel agents. Hello, Jane. Thanks for joining. And we have a lot of people in the group complaining about online travel agents for one reason or another, and complaining about what they've had done to them, or how they've been treated, or how they have tried to swindle them in some way. We have a lot of comments in the group about the online travel agents. Hi, Hibley. So just before we get started, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be talking about some things that you probably never heard me talk about before. So have a pen and paper handy, because this live stream is going to be really powerful for you if you take action on what I'm going to share with you. So have a pen and paper handy. If you're watching on the replay, then please do #replay in the comments box and ask your questions, and I'll come back and answer them later after it's finished. So the real reasons that the OTAs have their hooks in you is really psychological. It's got nothing to do with where you're located in the world. It's got nothing to do with how many rooms you've got. It's got nothing to do with anything. In fact, it's all psychological. And the reason that I say this is because I want you to take you back to before we had the online travel agents. If you're like me and you started your B&B or your guest house or your inn before about 2000 or 2005, I think, certainly in France, where I was running my B&B, they were very active from about 2011 onwards. 2010 a little bit, but 2011 they were really active in France, and they were ringing me up every week and saying, why aren't you listed? We can get you on, you can be listed today and get lots and lots of bookings. And I knew, I don't know how I knew, but I had this feeling. Hello, Barbara. Thanks for joining. I had a feeling that it wasn't the right way to go. And so I resisted it and I didn't list with them. I think I put one room on Airbnb back in 2011 under pressure from them. And, everybody in my area was telling me to list with them. Everybody in my area was saying, this is how it is right now. We don't like them, but we have to go with them. And I don't know why, but I just didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I had another strategy up my sleeve, which was working very, very well for me. And it has worked very, very well for my clients as well. So, and that strategy has got nothing to do with online travel agents. So if you think about before we had the internet, we were just, making nice rooms, opening our doors, hanging a sign outside and saying vacancies. And then when the internet came along, there was like a whole bunch of people over here searching for places to stay online. Hello, David. Searching for places to stay online, and a whole bunch of owners over here who had no clue how to be online, because it was totally new. I'm talking, 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whenever you started, or if you're just starting right now. Hello, David. Hello, Martine. If you're just starting right now, then you won't know what it was like before the internet. And you may be assuming, that it's the only way to run the business these days. And I can assure you that it isn't. And now That doesn't mean that you can't use them. That doesn't mean that I'm going to say, don't use them, cut them off right now. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that they are not the answer to your prayers that you might think they are right now. If you're just starting out, and if you don't remember, or you weren't involved in this business before the internet arrived. Now, just a caveat here. Whatever I tell you on this live stream today, don't believe a word of it, okay? Do your own research. Do your own investigations. Find out for yourself. I'm not asking you to believe anything that I say. You have to find out for yourself and come to your own conclusions. So what happened then, getting back to the story of the OTAs and how they came to be, there was this huge void in the middle between the people over here, the potential guests over here looking for accommodation, and the owners, the property owners over here, who had no clue about how to be online. And there was this big void in the middle that some clever people in Holland at the time, in the Netherlands, saw an opportunity to create something that would bring the two together. And that's really how Booking.com was born. Airbnb came later. So, and in the beginning, it was great, right? It was great. There was a way for people to book with us. There was a way for people to find us online, because owners didn't have a clue about being online, because we'd never been online before and we didn't know how to do it. And that's how it started. However, over the years, they have got more and more powerful through the psychological tactics that they use. So let me just explain to you what I believe they are. First of all, they play on your fear. They play on your fear of missing out. It's a human characteristic. They play on your fear of thinking, your belief that you cannot learn how to be online and attract the guests that you want. They play on your humanness, if you like, and you know, we're all human, right? They play on your humanness of wanting something to be easy, because humans like that. Humans like things to be easy. They play on your anxiety that you won't have enough money to survive, to pay the bills. They play on your fear of not being seen online, not looking professional online. They play on all kinds of fears that humans have when they operate from their, what I call their fear-based archetypes. So let me explain what I'm talking about here. Fear-based archetypes. Humans operate from what I call below the line thinking or above the line thinking. Below the line thinking is all about fear. Above the line thinking is all about power. So the last thing that the online travel agents want you to know is that you have the power. So they do everything in their power to keep you down. Now, they may not have had a board meeting and actually decided to do this. It's more subtle than that. But they are only concerned with one thing. And that one thing is having bookings booked through their system. They don't care if it's a double booking. They don't care if 50% of the bookings get cancelled. And I read something the other day, that somebody sent me something the other day from the south of France, an area in the south of France where they are reporting on a 45% cancellation rate through Booking.com down there. They don't care about that, because the only thing that they care about is the number of bookings that they get through their system, because that's the thing that they report to the shareholders. And that means that the shareholders can continue to have confidence in the business model. Therefore, they will continue to leave their money, their invested money, in Booking.com. And I'm really talking about all of them. I'm using Booking.com as like a collective noun, if you like. They only care about the number of bookings that they get through their platform. They don't care if the guest is cancelled. They don't care about anything else, because that is the metric that they use to maintain confidence in their business model and confidence for their shareholders, so that they can continue to operate. This is a multi-million pound company, if not a billion pound, euro, dollar company we're talking about here. So there's nobody sitting at the top of the pile and thinking, oh, how can we squeeze owners? They're not thinking like that, because they're only thinking about themselves and how they can continue to operate. And every tactic that they come up with and every new thing that they offer to you is purely and simply for their own benefit, first and foremost. They'll dress it up and they'll make it look like something that's going to work and going to be great for you. And they'll use all kinds of language to play on your fear, to play on your anxiety, and to play on your fear of missing out, which we all have. They will use all that to keep you exactly where you are. So, understanding the game is the first thing that they're playing, right? You complaining about them is not going to do any good whatsoever. And I know it feels good sometimes to vent and to complain and to say, oh, look what they did to me. But really, this is just feeding into the fear that they've already created in you. It's psychological, the fear that they've already created in you as an owner to keep you on their platform. And if you've watched any of my live streams in the past, you'll know that, you know, being on that platform is detrimental to you if that is your main strategy. I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying don't use them at all. They do serve a purpose. And they can be useful, especially in the beginning, and they can be useful when you need to fill rooms quickly, and they can be useful for all kinds of things, but that's a strategic use of them, not a reliant use of them. So when you're on a sort of when you're in a like a reliance basis, you're in a reliance relationship with them where you rely on them most of all for your bookings. You're in like a parent-child relationship. They are like the parent. They tell you what to do. They dictate what you do, and you're left sitting here like a child thinking it's not fair, or they shouldn't be doing this to me. And why has this happened? Why is this happening to me? It's all of your fear-based aspects of yourself, if you like, the child. What you need to do is to rise up to what I call your sovereign power and find out how to get bookings yourself. Learn how to get bookings yourself, because the key here is that if you are still relying on online booking agencies for year after year down the line, that means you have not learned any new skills to take control and take responsibility for your business. You're really in the low fear-based aspects of yourself. So get a piece of paper, if you've got a bit of paper, and I want you to draw a horizontal line across the middle. And I'll explain this to you in a minute. Just draw a horizontal line across the middle. And below the line, I want you to write the words blame, denial, and excuses. Blame, denial, and excuses go below the line on your piece of paper underneath your horizontal line. And above your horizontal line, you can write down the words acceptance, responsibility, and ownership. So let me know in the comments box if you've written that down. Let me just check the comments if you've got that written down. Oh, hello, all these people who've just joined. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't see you. I can't see all the comments all the time when I'm talking. Sorry. Yes, Martine, you're so right. Yeah, so many companies manipulate us. It's all market manipulation, actually. In fact, we do it all the time. We're doing it ourselves because that's how the world works. You know, we're always trying to meet our needs. We're always trying to meet our own needs first. And there's nothing wrong with manipulation, except that the word manipulation implies skullduggery. But it's not really. It's just on the way that you use it, the way that your intention behind it, shall we say. Great, thanks ladies, thank you. Hi everybody who's just joined. So when you're in, let's do the below the line aspects of ourselves. And I'm going to give you some resources at the end a bit further into this live stream. But John D. Martini is somebody that I follow, a big personal development teacher from America. And he estimates that there are 4,500 human traits that we are all capable of exhibiting and displaying. 4,500 aspects to ourselves that we are all capable of exhibiting. That includes murder. Given the right circumstances, we would all commit murder. given the right circumstances. And at the other end of the scale, given the right circumstances, we can all become a saint. And everything in between, from what we perceive as good and bad, bad it being murder and good being sainthood, everything in between, we all have the ability to exhibit any one of those traits that we choose to. So when we're exhibiting blame, denial, and excuses, which is like 99% of the population, 99% of the time, because we're humans and we don't know any different. If we don't know any different, if we don't know that there are other traits that we could exhibit, if we put our minds to it and put our intentions and our attention on traits that serve us better, most people are in blame, denial, and excuses. So that means blaming the online travel agents for whatever they've done, whatever that you perceive they've done to you. Denial, which is I'm not burnt out, I'm just doing fine. I'm actually doing fine when the resentment is kicking in, but you're not accepting it. You're not taking ownership of it and doing anything about it. That's what happens to a lot of owners when they deny the burnout that can creep up on you through constant frustration, constant worry, constant anxiety, not enjoying the business, but they deny it. And then excuses like I can't do anything about this now because my husband's ill or my mother's ill or something's happening to stop me. There's always an excuse as to why they can't do the thing that they know they want to do right now. There's always an excuse, and we all do this, in various aspects of our lives. So blame, denial, and excuses is where the online travel agents have got you. Right? Well, I'm not relying on them. I'm not relying on them as much as Mrs. What's her name down the road, so I must be okay, right? No, you're still relying on them. You still haven't learned any new skills. You still haven't learned how to market yourself to the guests that you want to welcome using the internet. It's as simple as that. Just own it. Own it. There's no shame. There's no judgment. There's no criticism. Just own it. Then you'll feel better, because from that place of ownership, acceptance, and responsibility, from that place, you can then take some different action. But when you're below the line in blame, excuses, and denial, you cannot take any action. You are totally stuck. They've got their hooks in you. They've got you right where they want you to be, and you will continue down that track forevermore until you come up and realize that you have been behaving in that way and exhibiting those traits. Like I say, don't believe a word I say. Go and do your own research, and I'll give you some resources in a little while. So I'm going to talk now about the beliefs that you might have that keep you hooked into the online travel agents, that they are preying on, they are utilizing in order to get you to do what they want. Again, beliefs are formed generally between the age of 0 to 7 in what they call the individuation process of our growth of our childhood. When between the ages of 0 to 7, we are like sponges for information. So whatever we see our parents doing or our carers doing or whoever's around us during the ages of 0 to 7 will feed back to us, this is how the world is and this is how I am. This is what I believe about myself. And those beliefs are very difficult to detect, but they can be detected by the words that you speak, because beliefs form thoughts, thoughts create feelings in your body, and feelings create an action. So when you've heard the expression, actions speak louder than words, right? Because actions display your beliefs about yourself. So if you want to change the way that you're operating, you want to get off the online travel agents, for example, it's very important to change your beliefs. And this is something that we focus a lot on when we work with clients at Bed and Breakfast Coach. We focus a lot on what do you believe about yourself and how can you lift yourself to above the line thinking, to above the line beliefs, and take ownership, responsibility and acceptance for your part in what's going on. There's no fault here. It's nobody's fault. Once you start using language like it's somebody's fault, you're back into blame. But taking yourself above the line will allow you to create new beliefs, and beliefs can be changed. Trust me, they can. I've done it myself many times, and I've seen clients do it, and I've seen the results of changing your beliefs. But your beliefs underlie everything that you think, everything that you feel, everything that you say, and everything that you do. Your beliefs are like those they're like the hidden drivers, if you like, behind every action that you're taking. So when you're complaining about the OTAs and how they're not being fair with you, you're below the line. You're not taking responsibility, and you have some beliefs going on, which could be, based on my experience, I can't do this. I'm not capable. I'm a child. I need somebody to tell me what to do. Now, that might be, you know, just me doing some kind of suggestion to you. It's up to you to do the work on your beliefs. And if you need help with that, then that's what we do when we work with clients. It's the first thing we do, because it's a bit of a mind fuck, to be honest. It's a bit of a mind fuck when you think about, you know, how once you realize that your actions are actually a reflection of your feelings and your thoughts and your beliefs, and you trace it back, and you can see just exactly what you believe about yourself, which is making you take this action or not taking this action, because that's really what's holding you back, what you believe about yourself. I have heard so many stories in the group. I see it on a regular basis. Email, I'll never do email marketing, because I'll never want to send an email to my past guests because they don't want to hear from me. My guests only come for one reason. They only come, it's a once in a lifetime bucket list thing. They won't come back. Email marketing is spam. It's spamming people. Email marketing is this and it's that. And all of these opinions are based on beliefs of the person who's stating them. And the belief is that I don't know how to do it, therefore it won't work. I don't know how to do it, therefore it won't work. And that is a belief that people form when they have not examined exactly what the cause of that belief is manifesting in their lives. So if you are hooked into the online travel agents and you want to break free, you've got to change that belief about email marketing for sure. That's just one of them, because email marketing works like a dream when you do it properly. Goodness, we had somebody in our group last week. She started with her offer. We constructed a strategic offer for her. She sent out the first email. She got 3 bookings before she'd even mentioned the offer, because when you know how to do it right, email marketing works like a dream. So whatever you think about that, it's probably not true. Whatever you believe about that, it's probably not true. And I'm going to question you on that. So email marketing is not the only way, but it's one way. It's proven and it's tested. It's not the only way. If you're not getting your emails from the online travel agents, if you're not getting the emails from your guests from the online travel agents because they are hijacking your guest's email address for their own benefit, and you're allowing that to happen, then you're not going to be able to build your own database of past guests so that you can build relationships with them, so that you can keep in touch with them, so that you then earn the right. You earn the right to market to them when you've built the relationship. But you have to build the relationship. And if you're hooked into the OTAs, they're going to keep that email for themselves. Because what they're using you for, they're using you to harvest more and more people onto their database that they can email and they can market to on a regular basis. And trust me, they are doing it. Because when you've got a database as big as they have, they must have millions on their database. You can sell almost anything because somebody's going to buy. That's what they're doing. They're using you under the pretext of helping you to get bookings. It's a way to harvest more data for themselves. So, is this making any sense to you? Are you with me? I can see that there are people who joined at the beginning are still here, so it must be resonating. Is this landing with you? Let me know in the comments, yes or no. There's a bit of a lag time here, so I'm just going to give you a minute or two to let me know. So let's continue then. Let's continue with the beliefs. And you don't have to believe anything I say. Do your own research. I'm going to talk now about how your beliefs manifest. Good, good, good. Great. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for commenting. So it's a very strange thing, actually, because I study human behavior. I am fascinated with human behavior, and I have been for many years now. And so I'm just going to share with you some funny things that I've found out about human behavior. So like I say, you don't have to believe anything I say. Just do your own research. So on the spectrum of murderer at this end and saint at that end, on the spectrum of human characteristics and traits, you can be anywhere along that 4,500 that John DeMartini purports to have identified. And the strange thing about beliefs, the very strange thing about beliefs, is that they also show up in your physiology. The way you stand, the way you talk, the way you convey your energy to the person that you're talking to is all governed by the beliefs that you hold about yourself. So if deep down you feel unworthy, you feel like you're worth nothing, you feel like you don't have anything valuable to contribute to the world, these are deep-seated beliefs that I used to have from my troubled and traumatic childhood. I used to think that nobody really wanted to know anything. Nobody really wanted to hear anything that I had to say, that I was useless and worthless and not able to make any contribution to the world. And that shows up in the way people, the way we talk, the way we look, the way we treat ourselves, or the way that we treat others, the way that even the way we walk. Now, when I lived in France, and Martine, you'll laugh at this, when I lived in France, I could walk down the street and I could walk behind somebody and I would identify them as a Brit as opposed to a French person. And then I couldn't tell you exactly what it was they were doing or exactly how it was that they were walking, but I just knew somewhere in my subconscious mind that they were British. And so I'd kind of sneak up behind them and wait until they talked. And 9 times out of 10, I was right, because beliefs form our physiology. It's scary, isn't it? When you see people walking down the street like this, you know, particularly old people with a scowl on their face, then you know that they believe that the world is a bad and dangerous place and they somehow have to hunch up to protect themselves. And that belief goes back to their childhood, totally unexamined, totally unexplored. And they've never had the opportunity, bless them, to actually come to grips with what exactly is driving their behavior and driving the way they walk. It's a very strange thing. And there's a great book. There's a great book called The Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. I recommend that you get a hold of it. It's crazy, actually. It's crazy. And you can tell confident people by the way they walk, the way they've got their shoulders. She puts her shoulders back now. The way that they stand, the way that they talk, the way they treat people, you can tell a truly confident person. I don't mean fake confidence. I don't mean bravado. You can tell. You can tell as soon as your guests come to the door. As soon as your guests come to the door, you'll be able to, once you know this stuff, you'll be able to assess exactly where they are in their thought process about the journey that they've had and the way that you can put them at ease and take control and deliver some certainty to them that they may not have experienced so far during that day. My assumption, and I very much like Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, And one of the 4 agreements is don't make assumptions. But here's an assumption that I do like to make, which serves me very well. And the assumption is that this person standing in front of me here has never had any positive reinforcement, and I'm going to be the one to give it to them. Because you can bet your life that most people who are walking around in this world are not getting any positive reinforcement in their lives. They're getting a lot of negative reinforcement in their lives. And so how you can counteract that as a guest house owner, a B&B owner, or an innkeeper, whatever property you call yourself, you can be that bright shining star in the life of somebody every single day, particularly with your cleaning help. Because people who do cleaning work, no disrespect to people who do cleaning work, but they are generally unskilled, and they don't think very much of themselves. They don't think that they can get they don't believe that they can get a high paying job. So if you can be that beacon of light for them, it will change their lives and it will change yours as well. But we're getting off track here, which sometimes happens when I do a live stream, because there's so much to say about physiology, belief systems, what's going on in your mind, your thought processes, so much to say. Here's something that happened to somebody that I've just started working with last month. And she came to me and she said, I can't find anybody to help me. I'm having to do the cleaning. I can't find anybody to help me. I've got somebody part-time, but they don't show up. And, you know, they give me the runaround. And when I looked at her office, which I could see behind her screen, behind her computer screen as I was talking to her, it was a complete mess. There was like things on the wall all over the place. And I said, why don't you tidy up that office and have a chat with the housekeeper who's currently working for you, and see what mutually beneficial agreement you could come to get her to work for you part-time, because she was a good girl. She was a good housekeeper. The next week that I talked to her, she'd not only tidied up her office, she'd actually moved her office to an upstairs where she could close the door. People were now knocking on the door before they interrupted her. And the housekeeper had accepted her proposal to work for her full time. And it was like a miracle had just taken place, all because she changed the way she thought about herself. She changed the way that she changed what she believed about herself to be true. And that is like changing your identity. Whatever you say is true is not really true. There are some universal truths, like, you know, if you jump off a cliff, you're gonna fall to the ground, right? Whether you believe it or not, gravity will take over. It's a universal truth, right? If you put your hand into fire, it's going to burn you, whether you believe it will burn you or not. Well, actually, that's even up for discussion. If you've ever walked on fire, as I have. There's a belief system behind everything. There are some universal beliefs like gravity, but there's a belief system behind everything. And the reason that you're using online travel agents is because of your belief system. So let me give you some resources. I've already mentioned John DeMartini. Just give me a yes or no in the comments, or a thumbs up or something to let me know, is this useful to you? Is this making any sense, and is it useful? Hello, everybody who's just joined. I didn't see you earlier. Sorry. So let me just wait and see what you comment. There's a little bit of a lag here. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate all your hearts and your smiles and your wow faces as well. Thank you very much. So I'm going to tell you, leave you with 2 things. Okay. First of all, if you're serious about getting off the online travel agents in the next 12 months or even in the next 2 years, but you're really sick and tired of having to rely on them or feeling like you have to rely on them, you really are fed up with the uncertainty of income that kind of attitude and that kind of modus operandi creates for you, and you're really ready now to to step into a new version of yourself, a new identity of yourself that's going to allow you to attract guests whenever you want to create money and bookings on demand whenever you want to give you certainty of income, to give you a consistent way of attracting guests by using our proven strategy. If you're ready for that, and to step into a new version of yourself, because that's what it's going to take, to step into a new version of yourself, to create the business and the lifestyle that you always wanted but maybe don't yet have, then I have 2 spots on my Elite Bed and Breakfast Business Transformation Program, from commodity to celebrity, to help you to position yourself in front of your ideal guests and to add value, create content, create engaging and entertaining and educational reasons for them to visit you, for them to come back, for them to buy more from you, to have this business engine set up so that you can rely on it instead of you running around like a slave to it and denying that that's happening. If you're ready for that, then I have 2 spots on my program. And what you need to do is you need to book a call with me. And I'm going to put this link in the questions box, in the chat box, where you can book a call with me to see if this is the right thing for you right now. Thank you, Jane. It does apply to anything in life. Okay, so I've just put the link to book a call with me to see if this is a right fit for you, because I want to answer all of your questions, make sure that you are the right person for us and that we are the right people to help you as well. So if you're ready to dump business as usual, basically to dump business as usual, unhook yourself from the grip and the psychological manipulations of the online travel agencies, break free, create something that you can be proud of, that you can rely on, create an asset in your business that you can rely on. Thank you, Jane. Then you need to book a call with me to see if this is going to be right for you. If you have any questions about that, then please message me privately as well. I'm happy to answer all of your questions. There's plenty of clients, ex-clients and current clients that are in this group. If you want to talk to anybody, please go ahead and do that. Jane, I'm sure, will be happy to talk to you. And there's other people here as well. Barbara, you're welcome. So let me give you some resources. Bruce Lipton, I mentioned. Bruce Lipton. Don't believe anything I say. Do your own research. The Biology of Belief. Catherine Ponder, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. Catherine Ponder, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. Florence Scovel Shinn, The Game of Life and How to Play It. Once you understand that you have the power to create anything you want, that you are in fact spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it, you are that thing, instead of this fear-based little human that you might be feeling you are right now. Once you realize that you are in charge of your life, that you are the creator of your life, everything will change for you. And yes, you'll slip back into fear occasionally because we're human, right? But even just to be aware that there's a line that you can cross and move up into your higher power, into your higher state of being, will give you so much more, will give you so much benefit. I can't even explain how that is going to affect all areas of your life. People who've come onto my courses have healed relationships with their children, they've healed relationships with their spouses, they've lost weight, they've just had complete turnarounds in their life when all they really wanted was to attract more guests. But there's so much more to what we do here at Bed and Breakfast Coach that is impossible to explain in just this quick live, in this 1 hour live stream. But I promise you, I call it a transformational program because it's truly transformational. One client last week, she has had her best February in 30 years and her best May in 30 years, despite 2,000 Airbnbs moving in the last couple of years, despite all of that, because she understands the power of her own creative mind and her belief systems, which she has massively shifted over the last couple of years. Catherine Ponder, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. Florence Scovel Shinn, The Game of Life. Anything by John D. Martini. anything by Abraham Hicks, Esther and Jerry Hicks, anything by Greg Braden, the science of spirituality, the science of belief, and Bruce Lipton. Dr. Joe Dispenza is another person that I follow very closely. Dr. Joe Dispenza. Wonderful. Just look them up on YouTube. You'll see lots of inspirational stuff that's based on scientific proof. But again, don't believe what I say. Do your own research and then come back and let me know what you got, what you found. Try and stay out of blame, denial, and excuses and move into ownership, acceptance, and responsibility, and watch your life change. Okay, so that's how to get free of the online travel agents. Not what you're expecting, I'm sure. But you know, tactics are 10 a penny out there. You can get tactics anywhere. I don't do tactics. I do strategy, I do practical application, and I do transformation. That's what we do here. So I hope you've enjoyed this live stream, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon and seeing you in the group. Bye for now. Lots of love. Bye for now.